Hi, my name is Brooke Bury, and I am a Social Security Disability hearing attorney with Packard Law Firm. What we're going to do today is talk about filling out your work history report. It's a little form that you get that looks like this, and it's really important that you get this filled out as quickly as you can, as soon as it's time to get that turned in. We're going to take some time today and go through each part. You can follow along with me, you can hit pause, and we're just going to go through the whole form together. If all the paperwork's done correctly and filled out thoroughly, then there's less of a chance of there being anything that might delay your hearing or delay your decision. But there are some things that are more important than others when we look at this form. Okay, so this is what the form looks like. There's a couple different parts. There's a main page where you're going to list each of the jobs you've performed in the past 15 years, and then after that, there's going to be an additional form that goes with each job that goes into more detail of what you did on a day-to-day basis when you worked there. We're going to go back and let's start with this main part, and we're going to break this down into the three main parts. So first, we're going to come down and talk about this part right here. So we'll start with job title. Now, what was your job? If you were a cashier for several fast food restaurants, you can clump them together and just write cashier. Let's say that you worked fast food the past several years. You don't need to list cashier, Taco Bell, cashier, Taco Cabana, cashier, Taco Bueno. But if you were a cashier at Taco Bell, but then you were a shift manager at Taco Cabana, and then at Taco Bueno, you were a cook. Those are three different jobs with three different titles, three different job duties. So go ahead and separate them: cashier, shift manager, cook. Or you can do cashier / shift manager, just right there as you go. Okay. Another example, if you were a construction worker and then you were promoted to working as a foreman, you can list construction worker and then list foreman. And if depending on if you were doing that job at the same time, like a working foreman, or if you were a construction worker somewhere else and then went to a different job as a foreman, you can separate them. However, it's easiest for you to break those down. All right, so the next part is going to be the type of business. This is just, was it a restaurant? Was it fast food? Was it a warehouse? Was it construction? Was it a dentist office? Insurance office? Were you at a call center? I know a lot of different types of companies. You've got credit card companies, you've got all kinds of towing companies, all kinds of things, but a lot of those jobs, customer service, were call centers. So if it was a call center, you can just write down call center. Now, the next pages are going to correspond with the job title. You've got job number 1. Go back to your first sheet. You've got job title 1. Okay. So this one's going to be describing that first job. The most important part about this part of the form is that you don't leave a lot of it blank. Now, describe this job. Pretend you are explaining the job as if the person reading your form has no idea what that job was. They have never heard of being a gas station cashier. They have never heard of being a special education assistant in a school. They have never heard of home health care. And there's different types of things like home health care. And if you were doing home health care, were you also cooking for these people? Were you cleaning their homes? Were you helping with laundry? Were you only doing medical things? Now the next part is very important. These are what we call posturals, and it's important not to shortchange yourself here. If you were a plumber, you were probably spent a lot of time of the day squatting, bending, kneeling, crouching, crawling. If you were at a desk at a call center, you still may have been spending a lot of time using your hands or your arms reaching for documents, or maybe you had to gather your own boxes of paperwork, or assist in carrying reams of paper, or gathering or carrying your own equipment to your workstation each day. These are all physical tasks that were very important for your job, and you don't want to shortchange yourself here. And again, not all these numbers don't need to equal the total number of hours you worked. So for instance, let's say that you were I keep going back to gas station cashier because that was one of my jobs right after college when I was paying bills. I was working as a gas station cashier overnight. And I actually really liked it. I would say that in an 8-hour shift, Sometimes I was standing all 8 hours. Sometimes I would sit for maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. There was a stool, but we were very discouraged from using it. I was walking a lot, probably a couple hours a night. So I might put standing for 8 hours, walking for 2 hours. It's sitting for an hour. And it's just an average. It's just an estimate of what I was doing on an average day. Now, as far as things like lifting and carrying, what types of things were you lifting and carrying? How far were you carrying it? Did you have to do it daily, hourly, or weekly? That kind of thing. Estimate the weight you lifted. I know not everybody carries a scale with them everywhere they go. Like, this is how much this box weighs that I carried for work. For instance, a gallon of milk is 8.6 pounds. A ream of paper, like a packet of paper, is about 5 pounds. A box with 10 reams of paper would be 20 pounds. So if you were stocking a room in your office or something like that on a weekly basis, you were carrying a 20-pound box of paper once or more a week. That's 20 pounds. Make sure you mark that down. A 2-year-old child, that's anywhere 25, 35 pounds, or whatever it might have been. Housekeeping, the bags of laundry, those kinds of things, trash bags, that's going to fluctuate a lot. And don't shortchange yourself. Put how much, you felt those things weighed and how often you were using them. Whatever's true for you, just put that down. The most important part is that we don't leave blanks on these things. If there's a very rare chance that you never in your job, if you were doing anything physical as far like grocery stores, stocking, anything like that, you're going to be doing these kneeling, crouching, crawling things. So just give yourself an estimate of an hour, half an hour, whatever you feel represents what you did. And I know all of this can feel really time consuming and tedious, because now once you finish job 1, you got to bump to job 2. But it's really important as this part of the process to have your forms fill out correctly and completely to help keep your case moving and avoid unnecessary delays down the road. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for choosing Packard Law Firm to represent you for your disability claim, and I hope this was helpful for you.